Oh, here it goes.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the 2Smart Dummies podcast. As always, I'm your host, Marcus.
And I'm your host, B. Reed.
Beatty, what's up, man?
Whole bunch of nothing, man. You finally
Had
got your matchups
nice
in college football that you've been waiting for all year.
You know, it's about to get exciting. I wonder where Alabama falls. Probably not far.
Yeah.
Penn State losing helps. I'm still not ready to say Minnesota's for real, but what an interesting weekend.
Yeah, man, because like Bama has this tendency of even when they lose, that's why I was hoping LSU was dominated, man. They were up by like 20, and I was like, man, if LSU can escape this game and win it by like 24 or something decisive, then we could finally get Alabama the fuck out of here and don't have to worry about them for the playoffs.
Yep.
But sure enough,
But you know that ain't going to happen.
fucking second half, they hold them scoreless for damn near, 15, 18 minutes or something and catch up.
Yep.
Make it a close game. Now it's a 4-point loss for Bama to LSU, who is a question whether it's LSU or Ohio State, who's the best team in the nation. So it's not gonna matter in the grand scheme of things. So if you got a one-loss team like a OU or a Oregon, you're gonna be really, really fighting for a Bama squad unless Auburn can pull it off. And you know, with that defense, that secondary, if Bo can get hot, I mean, he could do some of the same things. That secondary is not elite. The problem is that pass rush. Jennings, that dude's a monster.
So I keep trying to figure out, and I was trying to let it slide, but why do you keep saying OU?
Because OU always has a tendency to do that. So they're always going to be in the race. As long as they don't lose again. They did look horrible. But Iowa State always has a tendency to make them look horrible. Especially with Hurts' unwillingness to throw. He used to give Baker Mayfield the same kind of trouble.
Yeah, but you think Oklahoma's going to, what are they, 10?
They always start, I think one time they were like 12. I'm telling you, bro. I've been an OU fan for a long time.
You think they're going to jump Oregon, Minnesota, Utah, Penn State, Alabama, and Georgia?
So most of those teams got to play each other. That's what I'm saying. So OU's going to finish next week. They got Baylor, Baylor's 9-0. So they got a 9-0 Baylor team. They got somebody in between that. Then they got OSU. Baylor probably wins out. Then they play Baylor again. So even if they beat Baylor, they'll be playing a 9-1 Baylor team on the last week doing conference championship. If they do that, and I'm not sure they will because OU's look horrible. So I'm just saying hypothetically the same thing we're gonna say about Oregon. Hypothetically, if OU wins out, these next 4 games is going to be against Baylor, Oklahoma State, and then Baylor again, who Baylor should be 9-0 when they place them, and then have one loss when they face them, and the only loss would be to OU. So they could end the year strong enough with a Big 12 title, which means they would only have one loss, a Big 12 title, and end the year beating a ranked team twice. Oregon, if they haven't played Utah, won't they have to play?
Yeah, they haven't played Utah yet.
Okay, so they eventually have to play Utah, right?
Correct.
So it only can beat Oregon and Utah.
Yeah, but all those losses look better than a Kansas State loss.
I mean, maybe it's always. I mean, one year we lost to Iowa State. I mean, it's always a bad loss on.
Yeah, but you gotta treat each year differently. You can't just go by what they did a couple years ago.
This has literally happened like the last 6 years in a row. Go look it up. All the losses OU has, except for the Texas loss last year, it's always bad. They always have an early, terrible loss. But I'm telling you, because the way the season pans out, all the teams that you just named have to play each other. You know what I'm saying? So they have to meet each other. And then you got Georgia. Georgia's going to end up playing LSU or Bama in the conference championship game. You got Utah and Oregon going to end up facing off. Minnesota's going to have to play Ohio State or Michigan, somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Penn State and Ohio State play next week.
Yeah, so everybody is facing each other, even though it looks like you're out. All these teams, like you said, the early part of the season was so light Now you're getting into the heavy part of the season where all these teams have to face each other. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, personally, I'm an OU fan. I don't think OU is going to win out. I think they're going to lose. Even if they do get in the college football playoffs, I think they're going to get washed. And I'm an OU fan. I think they'll get washed because I don't think Hurts can throw like that. He has a tendency to roll out the pocket and get uncomfortable too quickly. But
so who's better? LSU? Who's been more impressive, I should say? LSU or Ohio State to this point? Not who's been more dominant, who's been more impressive?
Well, just because LSU beat Alabama, I would have to say LSU. You know what I mean? But
agreed.
If I'm just looking at the play on the field, Ohio State looks damn near unbeatable. You know what I mean? With that,
and they just got their best player suspended for four games.
I don't think that matters, man, because they just.
Well, no, my point. That's my point. And they just get, you know what I mean, with that, which, you know what, we're gonna get to this in college basketball in a second, and I'm tired of the NCAA, man. I mean, it's just this is a joke.
Yeah.
It really is, and there, at some point, the NCAA's hypocrisy is gonna come back to bite them in the ass. This is ridiculous.
So, do you want to discuss that portion of it right now? Or you want to finish? So
No, we can. So Chase Young suspended for 4 games because he took a loan from a family friend, which turned out to be an agent in somewhere or another, but he fully paid the loan back. The loan was to fly his girlfriend out to the Rose Bowl in L.A. for last year, and like I say, he paid the loan back.
Now, how do you find out about these things? This has got to be like a whistleblower situation. Somebody told on him, I'm assuming.
It's got to be. I don't know. You know, but it's the same thing with the University of Memphis. The future number one draft pick, or potential number one draft pick, James Wiseman with the University of Memphis has been suspended. Has been ruled ineligible. Memphis got a court order to
block it.
Put that suspension off, postpone the suspension. But again, if you're college basketball, if you're the NCAA, you have the potential number one draft picks in both the NFL and NBA, potentially. Why would you want to take them out of the game for something so silly? So Penny, before he was the coach of Memphis, helped move this kid, James Wiseman, from Nashville to Memphis. Which, okay, whatever, I get it. And maybe
I can see why, because when Penny first became the head coach, the eyes was on him anyway. Because
and the blue blood programs were pissed off. Coach K, Bill Self, or anyone, or John Calipari.
I think they spoke about it. Like somebody was saying something because Penny came in and then he put together that NBA staff of like former NBA players.
Mm-hmm.
They like built a facility. Mm-hmm. He has like NBA trainers in there, and then people start saying like he has an unfair advantage or something like that. I remember reading about something like that over the summer.
And all those coaches were unhappy, and you already know they were like, yo, this is illegal, this is what he did, we were doing some digging. But if you're the NCAA, so what, man? Like, you're hurting yourself.
And then he comes in and gets the number one draft pick, James Wiseman, like a 7'2" freak athlete that can shoot threes.
Who looks like a monster. He got, 28 and 12 and 22 minutes or something like that the other night.
He's a prospect like Cat, but I think he may be a little bit further along than Cat, because Cat looked like a kid when he came out. Like he's playing for like the Dominican and all that stuff, but he looked like a kid. This kid looked like he's fully ready to go now, and he should, because that's why I say it is kind of an unfair advantage, because he's been with Penny for so long, and Penny's been preparing him for the NBA since middle school or something, because he's been on Penny's AAU team.
But so what? Who cares? Like, is it really a big deal?
I don't think it is, but
it's not.
They saying fairness for competitive advantage,
But I'm done. And you know what? I already don't even like college basketball. There's really no reason for me to watch college basketball other than Arkansas. I'm from Memphis. I would have kept an eye on Memphis, but the one thing I tried to flip over. I was out of town, and just flipping over, and I was like, yeah, all right, college basketball kicking off, 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4. And they some boo-boo ass games, man. Like 51. Nobody wants to watch that. Do you want to watch 51-38? No.
I mean, but
it's overcoached. That you get no freedom in these games. It's terrible to watch.
To play devil's advocate, what they say is it's terrible because they actually play defense. Now,
it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, we know that it's not actually because they actually play defense, but that's what people that don't like the NBA says. They say that, you know, those games are like that because it's an act. They're actually playing defense. You're watching amateur basketball, so that's what it should be. You know what I mean?
You can't get into a rhythm because there's timeouts and fouls. I mean, there's timeouts literally every 4 minutes.
Are fucking terrible.
Every 4 minutes, that's insane. And then the fact that everything's a foul. You got, the coaches are really the stars who just overcoach, to nauseum. It's just college basketball already sucks as a product. So why would you want to be taking, wouldn't you love to have LaMelo Ball and James? Now you're telling me that the top 2 picks in the NBA draft aren't even going to play college basketball this year? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hurting themselves. And things like this happening with Wiseman, that's why I said earlier in the year that the NBL, isn't that what it's called? The NBL over in
NBL.
Yeah, I think that they are in prime position to take over all that shit for the NCAA, just because the NCAA are being petty. When they did that agent shit, that was one. Now they corrected that, but little things like that. Now you're gonna make James Wiseman miss the season. Now what if Wiseman just says before his case is over, says fuck it? I'm pretty sure there's an NBL team that'll take him right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They're already trying to expand the parameters of the G League. The NCAA got to get their shit together in the next 2 years, or there's not going to be an NCAA. It's going to truly be an amateur league because all the talent that can go professional is probably not going to go to the college basketball anymore. They're probably going to start going to the G League and go to their tutorial program, or they're going to go to the NBL where they can get paid. But it's going to be a different type of environment that's going to change it. It might make it exciting for the tournament, but it's definitely not going to be exciting for all those regular season games.
And that's what I was gonna say. And the college, we'll see if there truly are college basketball purists out there, because now you're not getting those athletes that are coming, year in and year out. You're gonna get the 3-year teams, the 4-year teams, which in the end may be a better basketball product overall.
I was gonna say,
but
that might be better for the NCAA if you get rid of the one and dones and you get rid of the players that are trying to stay 3 and 4 years. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is at least you're going to have players that you can connect with. Because you're not going to – right now, it's hard for you to connect. Like, I'm a North Carolina fan. We had Kobe White last year. Dude stayed for 1 year. He's gone. Didn't even see
Cole Anthony the same.
Cole Anthony's coming. We know Cole Anthony is not going to stay for more than 1 year. This isn't like before when we used to get, Ty Lawson or Raymond Felton. These players,
Sean May.
Yeah, you used to get players that you can actually connect with, see them grow. And then when they go pro, you're happy for them. That's what you're going to start. I would prefer to see that and see players develop and grow instead of, I love Cole Anthony, but shit, I don't have no connection with him. I know bad season, good season, he gone.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so, like I said, if you're college basketball, you're not doing yourself any favors, as is. But as you said, you're definitely setting up an avenue to where these guys are not going to come and play college basketball. Why should they? You know what I mean? But that's if the NBA doesn't drop the ball, because, again, for the most part, nobody's watching G League right now. But you throw LaMelo Ball and James Wiseman in the D League or G League, and I'll check it out. If they start televising NBL games, yeah, I'll check it out. So college basketball as a whole, you already suck.
Except for March Madness.
Except for March Madness, but why not? But you need those eyeballs. You need those eyeballs on the screen. But then again, like I said, how many college basketball fans do you know? That are true.
I'm in a college town, so I know a lot. I know.
Yeah, but are they like true the diehard college basketball fans?
Yeah, because they don't like the NBA. And they're attached to Arkansas basketball. If you're watching Arkansas basketball, you're a true NCAA fan.
I watch Arkansas basketball.
That's terrible basketball. If you're willing to watch terrible basketball, then you're a fan.
But at the end of the day, I I think it's a cultural thing because most of us don't fuck college basketball like that. So
I mean, I fuck with my team. Most of the people that I know that watch college basketball, they're attached to a team. You know what I mean? It's nobody that's just watching college basketball for the purity of the team. They like Duke, they like Kentucky, I like North Carolina. They like whoever they watch, and that's the team they watch. They're not just watching, Purdue take on Texas. That's not happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? The top team. Like, I didn't watch the whole kickoff in New York because I don't really care.
Now, are there still must see college basketball games? Like, I mean, when was the last time you saw there was a must see?
Was it North Carolina Duke or whoever Duke? I think it was North Carolina Duke last year. It's always
that a must see?
Yeah, because it means Zion. So whoever Zion was facing when he was facing top talent, but I think always the North Carolina Duke matchup is always must see. I mean, it's one. Let's get back
to you mentioned Arkansas. Chad Morris fired after 22 games, 0 SEC wins, basically or was it? I think 37, whatever it was, 37 games. He was 8-20. Whatever the math adds up to.
I think he's like 8. You talking about from SMU too?
No, just from Arkansas.
Because I feel like even from SMU, the dude's like 12-40 or something.
He's bad. And I know you said that you got to give him another year, but myself, as I was watching that game, keeping tabs on that game, and Arkansas fans around, and really at this point, people in general. I mean, I'm at the airport talking to a guy, and they're like, yeah, you guys got to get rid of him. He's just in over his head. And, I mean, if people who don't even like the team can say, yeah, this dude stinks, you're not fielding a competitive team. If Arkansas was losing by a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, that's one thing. All right, cool, he's building. We're in the right direction. But you're getting beat by 50 every single week by Western Kentucky. If you can't field a team that can be competitive with Colorado State, Portland State, San Jose State, Western Kentucky, you got to go, man. This is the SEC. Like, I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to go.
I was, last week I had a different stance. This week, just kind of, thinking about it, you can't lose like that to Western Kentucky. I mean, you can't get dominated. And the worst part is, you can't get dominated by Western Kentucky and your former quarterback, and you're supposed to be like a quarterback offensive system guy, comes in and looks 1,000 times better than he did last year. You know what I'm saying? You could say that about Western Kentucky when they're playing inferior competition, but if he comes in and he lights your team up and he looks unstoppable, and you let that guy walk out the door because you said that he wasn't talented enough or whatever, and that dude comes back and blows you out, this is the second year in a row that you lost the team. Because at this point, they're not even playing for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed that you would have had another mass amount of transfers. Because at this point in time, it's not just, the upperclassmen trying to go do a better opportunity. It's the players. They don't like the coach. They don't like the system. And they don't like the style. Now, I want you to... Go ahead.
You're right. And I was going to say, and you got to nip that in the bud, because recruiting long term, you can't afford to have, I mean, as you said, they had 27 or 22 transfers last year.
This is crazy.
And I get it. But now, at this point, you got to go. I mean, this is a Power 5 program. Unfortunately, you don't get the time that you would get at an SMU to turn it around. You don't get the time that you would get at a Kansas to turn it around. You know what I mean? This is a Power 5 SEC program. This isn't some Power 5, program that just wants to win 6-7 games and you can stay there forever. That's not that. This isn't Vanderbilt. This isn't anything like that. You have to win in the SEC or you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, you can't afford for another. Like, I was on the side because he did good. He did well at recruiting this year, but now I'm looking at how the team is playing, their effort. If he stayed, there were going to be a lot of transfers again. Then you can never really get ahead of yourself, because you're always working from behind, because you're not recruiting that. I mean, at this point, you're a down program in Arkansas, and you're recruiting. So even though he is getting recruiting classes, you can't replace the people that you're losing. You know what I'm saying? With top-tier talent. So even when you coach these players up to do whatever they do, but you see no progression in the team does not get better as the season goes along. They actually get worse. They were competitive early in the year in games, and now they just get blown out by 50, and it's not even close. That shows that there's a coaching problem. But with that said, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I was saying that you shouldn't fire him, because now I think that puts you in a situation where how do you get a quality coach in here without just massively overpaying for them? I mean, I don't know how you get them in here. And even if you do, what type of leeway? You got to, if I'm a coach and I'm coming to Arkansas, you better make that buyout like $25 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not leaving. If I'm a Norvell or I'm a Lane Kiffin and I'm at a place where I'm comfortable and they're letting me build and I don't have all that pressure, I'll come. But you better give me a massive buyout. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I have some type of job
agree.
security, because I'm not coming here for the Arkansas fans to be tripping whenever I don't exceed expectations and get the 9 or 12 wins they think I'm supposed to get. You better give me a big buyout and give me 2 to 3 years, and I would talk to them about that before I start.
And so I just wonder where this coaching search is going to start. As you said, Mike Norvell has Arkansas ties. That's who most fans wanted in the first place. I don't think Lane Kiffin's coming to Arkansas. What's that?
I said it's not easy to get him.
No, that's not going to be an easy person to pick. That's a guy who USC is probably going to be coming open. I mean, that's a guy that's probably going to get some heads turning in other directions. Lane Kiffin,
Clay is on the hot seat, right?
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna fire Clay Helton. They just brought in a new athletic director. That's about the writing on the wall for that. That's not his guy. Team's underperforming. You've probably seen the last Clay Helton. So Les Miles is in Kansas. Maybe he stays there. It's an easy cush job. He's got them competitive.
Although
Lane Kiffin.
The avenue there is that they're under investigation from all the shit. Now a lot of that's from basketball, but there is a couple of things going on for football. So depending on how that's looking, I mean, if Arkansas would probably have to pay that contract or pay whatever the penalty is. But I mean, like I said, you're gonna have to pay money to get a quality coach.
Yep. But you look at Arkansas. You look at it's okay. So Arkansas is open. If USC comes open, Florida State is open. Those are already 2 better jobs than Arkansas. So you could easily see Lane Kiffin just sliding right on up to Florida State. Mike Norvell will have his choice.
Can you imagine Les Miles at Florida State? And he's close enough to LSU, close enough to Louisiana. He's a players coach guy where people are going to come to Florida State anyways. He could probably dominate at Florida State.
Maybe. But Arkansas is good.
SEC, ACC isn't the SEC. Yeah, Clemson is good, but if you can talk players in there and get the type of talent that he's had at LSU in Florida with that speed, I mean, you can run that system and run through the ACC just on pure speed and strength alone.
Well, we'll see. Let's get to the NFL, man. So Thursday night, we're recording this on Sunday. Sunday.
Before you skip over, who are your 4 college football teams that you think will make it? Call them right now. It's about to get to the
Ohio State, LSU. I wasn't prepared for this. I'm going to say it's going to be Ohio State, LSU. I think Oregon's going to get in one way or the other. If they beat Utah, I think Oregon's in.
What if Utah beats Oregon? Do you think it's the same conversation? They only have 1 loss, right?
Yep. Yeah, I do think it's the same conference. I think the Pac-12 winner gets in. Pac-12 championship winner, I think they get in. Now, that said, Georgia, who I think is overrated, if they somehow win the SEC, if they beat LSU in the national championship or in the SEC championship, maybe they get in. Or, well, they'll definitely get in. Yeah. But
that's not gonna happen.
I'll go. I think it's going to be LSU, Ohio State, Alabama, Pac-12 winner. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Are you the name Clemson?
Oh, fuck. Yep.
Yep.
That's the tricky part. Now what do you do, right?
I mean, it really ain't no decision. I mean, it's going to
I think Pac-12 winner gets in.
You think they get in?
I think Pac-12 winner gets in.
They get in over Bama if Bama beats Auburn?
If they don't, if Bama...
So let's say OU, Oregon, and Bama go undefeated, but Bama misses the championship game because LSU goes. Bama ends the season with 1 loss.
You're not. Hey, listen. That's everybody wants. And the SEC has been wanting that. Oh well, what if you didn't win your conference? Alabama, you didn't win your conference. Sorry.
That shit ain't happening. They are not letting Oregon get over Bama. OU maybe just off prestige and having Jalen Hurts. Maybe just how they travel and shit like that.
But see, here's the thing: the Pac-12 has not even been in the college football championship since it started.
Exactly,
not in the playoffs.
And they're not going to get in because Oregon don't travel like Bama or OU. There's no way.
I mean, it is a money grab, so we'll see. Thursday night, Oakland Raiders pull out a last-second victory over the Los Angeles Chargers, the London Chargers, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
I thought Jacksonville was the one.
The no-fan Chargers is what we'll call them. Phillip Rivers looked horrendous. Derek Carr, another game-winning drive. Gruden called a great game. San Diego really sold out to stop the run. Josh Jacobs came and put a dagger in their back.
I like Jacobs.
I like him. And Oakland has a nice stretch of games coming up. They're going to play. I know they play the Jets. They play the Bengals in the next 2 weeks, and I think they play the Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos. I think that's how they finish out.
They have a winnable schedule because even the Chiefs look vulnerable right now. The Chiefs,
Chiefs took a loss today. I really do think that the Raiders are a playoff team. Obviously I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs. They also have the Titans and Jaguars on the schedule, so a couple hard games coming up.
Yeah. Titans and Jaguars, even though their records might not show it, those are tough teams to beat.
Winnable games, but and they had the exact opposite problem of the Raiders. The Raiders defense is an atrocity, but the Titans offense is no good. The Jaguars offense is no good. So, I mean, the Raiders are going to be fighting for that wild card spot. They did announce that Nick Foles will be the starter. Yeah, and that'll make a difference because Nick Foles can carve your defense up.
One thing he will do is he can't put 8 and 9 in the box like they were doing against Gardner Minshew, because that motherfucker close his eyes and throw that bitch up to DJ
hope for the best.
And D.D. Westbrook. He doesn't care about picks. He'll throw that shit up. So that's going to open up the run game for Leonard Fournette. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays.
Lamar Jackson, you think he's got a real shot at MVP?
And I don't know why he wouldn't.
That dude is incredible. Yeah, that dude is incredible.
I don't think anybody was really picking the Ravens to be what the Ravens are and knocking off the Patriots. Their resume is pretty incredible. So saying that he's not in line for the MVP, why wouldn't he be? Like, who would be, realistically, who's ahead of him from individual performances? You got Christian McCaffrey, but they're not really in the playoff hunt.
Right. They're in the playoff hunt, but I get what you mean.
5-4, maybe. Who else? Drew Brees set out. Tom Brady, maybe. I don't know.
Drew Brees looked awful today. The Saints looked absolutely terrible today.
Tom Brady hadn't looked excellent.
Tom Brady's looked bad.
Who else would it be?
That's a good point.
I don't know. I mean, before Brissett got hurt, he could have been in the conference. Oh, Hopkins. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sorry. Not Hopkins. Watson. Deshaun Watson.
You're not giving a receiver MVP.
yeah. I meant Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Slowly but surely, a team that has been creeping back in the AFC, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 5-4 after a horrendous start. Minka Fitzpatrick has been dominant. Troy Polamalu.
Yeah,
now it looks like they stole him from Miami. But Miami, again, when you make that trade, you thought that was going to be a high pick. Steelers might mess around and make playoffs too. Who knows?
Yeah, but you put a player like that on a team that in that system, that's what that team is built for safeties. Safeties. That front seven lets those safeties roam back there and do a lot of different things, and he's taking advantage of that system 1,000%.
The Bills lost to the lowly Browns. The Browns stink. God, the Browns stink. The Bills, overrated. Defense is good. Offense is okay.
Hey, hold on. Bills ain't that bad. Don't take away my Eagles' quality win. That's a legit team right there.
The Bears pulled out a victory today with Matt Stafford not playing for the Lions, but the Bears look flat out awful.
3 touchdown passes.
But he made 3 good throws, and the Bears barely beat the Lions. I don't have a ton to say about the NFL right now.
The only interesting thing about it will be, I don't know, and it's funny because earlier, we were saying about these teams that we thought would dominate, but now all these teams, especially in the AFC, have shown so many holes. I really don't even know what to make of it. Like, now, I think Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens have a legitimate shot at getting to the championship. I mean...
Well, the AFC definitely is no good. We definitely know that. Well, it's definitely not as good as the NFC, I should say.
The Niners look good. I mean, with that run game,
they look really good,
and that defense. It's just, man, they are what we thought the Rams were, a year ago. Now, that's the thing about the NFL. I just don't know how big a team's window is. People start winning and they think your window is for this long 5-6 year stretch.
That's not football, no, right? Not. And that's really what makes the NBA so great, is because we'll get to the NBA, because there's some stuff with the NBA that I want to talk about that I'm like super fascinated by. But the NFL doesn't work that way, man. Like, legitimately, if you're the hot team, you better win, because there's only one team that's been good consistently. That's the New England Patriots. Everyone else,
and that's a product. A lot of that is the product of the conference they're in. They're one of the only.
Oh, well, no doubt about that.
Where you finish first, and then next year, there's not somebody challenging you every year.
Yep.
AFC East is the only conference that I can think of that it's like that. Every other conference has at least one team that's decent, and even if you get it, even when Seattle was good for a 2-year stretch, that means the GMs, they like overcompensated. You know what I'm saying, for that. Then the Rams came, and that, you know what I'm saying. So it's not like that in the AFC East. It hadn't been like that in the AFC for years. So they
20 years.
They had that cushion of being able to win 6 games a year off of nothing. And then you get a couple of bottom feeders, and it's easy for them to win 8 to 10 games on a yearly basis and just coast and take off. It's like LeBron James with the Cavaliers. You can't stop a dominant force when they can just coast into the playoffs rested. I mean, of course they're going to beat you up.
So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the AFC looks like. I could not tell you who's going to make the playoffs.
I'm
the
liking
Chiefs,
these Ravens, man. I just like
Chiefs are reeling. The Ravens are for real.
Now, but at the end of the day, Chiefs are fast as shit, though. The problem with the Chiefs is I don't trust Andy Reid, and I don't trust that defense.
That defense isn't great.
Yeah, I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens top to bottom. I like how they're coached. I like how the game's managed. I like the system, how they call plays. I like how they make you defend. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get into a cold situation, they can just pound the ball with Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson. You get into a situation where you're on turf and it starts being a high-flying, high-scoring game, Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, they can do it. I mean, they're the most well-balanced team in the NFL, in my opinion. Yep. Well, in the AFC, let me say that.
And they utilize all their tight ends. Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle,
is it Max?
Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So if it comes to a situation where, say, they have to go to New England in the snow, they're built for that, to go 3 tight end sets and just pound the ball. And then if you want to go 3 tight end sets, you can always have Mark Ingram blocking for Lamar Jackson. You can even put that same situation with a Marquise Brown on the other side, and then you have to account for that player. You know what I'm saying? I just think that they can do so many different things well that it makes it very, very hard to defend them. And they're actually starting to get their rhythm, because you're forgetting that this is a second-year quarterback. He's getting better as the season go along. Everyone laughed at him last year. That playoff experience that he got last year where he looked terrible for 3.5 quarters, that fourth quarter, you know what? Nah, he didn't play, did he? Did he come in? It was Flacco the whole time, right?
Yeah. That was Flacco.
Nah, Ray saw that shit.
No, he did. He did. You're right.
He came in.
Yeah.
Nah, they stuck with him. They kept saying, why don't you put Flacco in? And he looked terrible that whole game. And towards the end, he started making plays.
The second half, he came in and the fourth quarter, basically, it was like the last 6 minutes where he looked really good.
I mean, he looked awful the whole game. He looked like he wasn't even supposed to be an NFL quarterback. But then when it came down to winning time, he showed that he was clutch. And the one thing Harbaugh said is, I want him to get that experience so when we're in this situation again, he can fight through it. Now, if your coach has that type of confidence in you, I think they're going to be hard to put out in the playoffs, because he's been through a ton of adversity. You know what I mean? And he's not going to just bow his head, because he knows he has a defense that can always keep them in the game.
Yeah. The Ravens look unbeatable right now. I mean, we know they're going to go through their ups and downs, but again, I said it last week. I've been saying it the past couple weeks. John Harbaugh, Coach of the Year. The way they built that team around Lamar Jackson has been nothing short of incredible.
So we got the Niners and we got the Seahawks on Monday night. How do you think that game goes?
Man, shit, I hope they beat the hell out of Jimmy Garoppolo and break his hand.
Man,
all right, I don't hope that, but I hope he rolls his ankle or something, because I really need a fantasy football win. So it's selfish. Other than that, could be a great game. Jimmy, I don't want you to get hurt long term. I just need you to miss the game. Okay.
Now, Josh Gordon, is he active or not? I thought he's not active, right?
I think he's game time.
Game time
is what they were saying. Yeah.
If he can be half, because this isn't a system like, this isn't a New England system. This isn't, hey, I need you to run crisp routes, timing routes, be on time, or I ain't gonna throw it to you. That's not how Russell Wilson rolls. If I can get open, then I get it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if Josh Gordon can get in there and just, be healthy, don't smoke, don't drink, don't flunk a drug test, get your head together, and just play these final games out, he can be a very, very dangerous weapon for Russell Wilson. Because you might be able to stop George Gordon on his first route. You're not stopping him on those scramble shits where Russell Wilson started rolling around.
Yeah, and I mean that's another person you can talk about for MVP is Russell Wilson. He's in that conversation for sure.
Well, you 97.99% of the offense year in and year out. Yeah, you're pretty unstoppable.
You're gonna hate them light skins though, okay? Because
Hey, I don't know, man. It depends on the season.
All right, let's get to the NBA. So your boy Deion Waiters suspended for 10 games after consuming an edible and having a panic attack.
So now the story is that I read that Deion ain't snitching. He ain't snitching. Somebody on the plane gave him the edible. It wasn't his edibles. Now, by process of elimination, I'm going to say it's James Johnson. You know what I'm saying?
You mean Tyler Hero ain't sliding the edible?
Nah, Tyler Hero. There's only two people that I can look at on that roster and say it's either Jimmy Butler or it's James Johnson. One of the two. So,
my money's on James.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if you Deion Waiters, it's not like you can say, "Yo, this was James Johnson's edible," because James Johnson whoop your ass. What is he, a brown belt?
Yeah, he's like jiu-jitsu. That's what I'm saying. So it's like they making him seem like, oh, he ain't no snitch. Nah, whoever gave
he's
him
scared.
It's only 3 dudes that's guaranteed gonna whoop Waiters if they open their mouth. Udonis Haslem, James Johnson, or Jimmy Butler. It's one of those 3 dudes. Okay. Outside chance is Alonzo Mourning, the coach.
Yeah, outside
chance, but I'm looking at those 3 dudes, and my number one suspect is James Johnson.
And if you Deion Waiters, you look over at James looking at you. You just gotta take the suspension, brother.
Hey, and you had a fucking seizure. How many edibles did you eat? What are you eating?
Right. Come on, man.
And he was already on the. Some teammates set him up because I think this might be just what they need to void his contract. That's the only thing.
He ain't gonna play another game for the Heat. They gonna get his ass up out of there.
He got suspended from being. He was already on the hot seat for being overweight. Then he had an attitude because he wasn't starting. And then you finally, serve your suspension for that. Get back on the team, have a goddamn seizure, panic attack, and eating the edible. Out in LA.
Don't make no damn sense. What they doing there? Miami's not the place for that, gentlemen. No, sir.
Nah, man. Pat ain't going for that, man. Pat might put hands on him when he touch down. You know what I'm saying? Pat might have been right on the red carpet of the airport, tarmac, straight hands.
Pat old school, man.
Old school. You know what I'm saying?
So, I don't know if y'all know this, but Jokic is a very, very bad dude. Another game winner this week, or today. If y'all haven't been watching the NBA, man, I don't know what you're watching, but there's so much going on right now. What else are you watching?
Yeah, I mean, through the week, I don't know.
Nikola Jokic is a bad dude.
He is, man, but I still think the Denver Nuggets are missing something because he picks and chooses when he's a bad dude. Like, that team should literally blow out the Minnesota Timberwolves. They blow like a 9 or 10 point lead. They had a 9 or 10 point lead. They blow that lead and go into overtime. And then Jokic, he wins the game, but he wins it with a spin, fadeaway, step back. And
if it was Dirk, you'd be like, "Oh, that's just Dirk."
I don't fuck with Dirk. You wouldn't have heard me say that.
You know,
but I mean,
what?
But you know Dirk. You know Dirk is gonna do that every time. At the end of the game, every game, Dirk is gonna have the ball in his hand. You win or lose with me. If Jokic starts doing that, I'll start giving him respect. The problem is he doesn't. Like, it should not be that close. He should be taking the game. I don't need Jamal Murray taking step backs for the game winner. I don't need Will Barton taking floaters for the game winner. If he doesn't step up and be the closer of the team, this team is always going to have problems.
So, people are upset with your boy Kawhi Leonard. The NBA didn't fine the Celtics or the Clippers for giving out misleading information or inconsistent stories, I should say, regarding his injury. Look, man, we in November. If you hurt, okay, I get it. But come on, man, this load management stuff, I mean, because for the fans, like you and I, right? Like, obviously, we're fans. We're going to watch the game either way. But as trying to grow the game, I want to see Giannis and I want to see Kawhi Leonard. I want to see that, okay? Because I'm only going to get one more chance to see it. It's primetime TV unless they meet in the finals. Sit out the first night of the back-to-back. Who are they playing? The Kings or something crazy like that? The Warriors? Why? Come on, man.
Bro, this is a Pop thing, man. I hate Pop brought this to the NBA. I hate that it started to be like Pop used to say, resting because of what, aging or old or some bullshit like that. And he was notorious for doing this shit on ESPN or, you know, on the TNT broadcast and taking the easier game. What they're doing is not really directed at the national televised game, but they're playing them on the lighter end of the back-to-back. And the heavier end of the back-to-back is always the best team. That's why it's nationally televised. If you're playing Giannis in Milwaukee, that's going to be, you know, in November. That's a heavy minutes game. You know what I mean?
If you're in the NBA, if you're Adam Silver, do you send a note to teams, and you probably can't do it this season, but that, you know what, if you're going to start sitting guys, load management, because I don't think the problem is load management. And there's only few guys that do it.
I think this is for the collective bargaining agreement. They're trying to shorten the season, man. They're trying to get the season down to 70, 72 games.
Which is fine. I don't think it'll happen. You're not going to get you're not going to get the owners to agree to give up that much money. You're not going to get players might agree to give up that much money. Money's not what it used to be.
Are you going to give back some percentages when I lose money? That's the problem. Like, you can start pushing for these things, but in collective bargaining, it's a negotiation. What are you going to give me to make me shorten the season by 10 games and lose 10 games of revenue? What are you going to give back? What are you willing to give back? And they're not going to be able to. They're not going to give back anything significant because that's going to affect TV contracts.
Right.
Everything, ticket sales, arena sales. It's too much.
Either way.
Money.
The NBA needs to figure out a way to, like, hey, load management, fine, we get it, whatever y'all want to do. But you sit out on a nationally televised game because if you're ESPN, you're pissed. You paid $500-something million. You paid $500 million for these NBA rights. Same thing with TNT. And then the fact that Kawhi Leonard missed the ESPN game and played on the TNT game has to make ESPN even more upset. It's like, yo, you can't sit out nationally televised games unless you are actually injured. And the only way you're sitting out that game is if you're missing the next game. You're missing both back-to-backs. Like there's got to be something in place for this to stop happening. Because while I want the game to grow as a fan, also I just don't want to. I want to see Kawhi. I want to see the best players in the NBA. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, but the problem is that I think the players are prima donnas, and you can say, "Oh, they're athletes, taking care of your body." Man, bro, they're getting paid like $40 million a year to hoop. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand it's their job and it's a profession, but they getting paid like $40 million a year to hoop because we're not talking about the dude that just made the roster. He's not sitting out with this shit. He ain't no load management for him. He playing every fucking game. The eighth man on the roster, he's not sitting out no games because he sprained his ankle. This is only your top tier talent that is doing this. So if you're telling me these issues on your body only affects the dudes that's making $45 million a year, it's bullshit, man. I like what James Harden said, man. Ain't no load management for me. I'm out here trying to get it. Now, he's a stat chaser, but I understand
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I understand what he's saying. That's how it used to be. How is it nowadays that now 82 games is way too much? So, in order to keep the 82, they tried to stretch the season last year. They started the season 2 weeks earlier because this isn't like the NFL. There's not guaranteed 4 preseason games. You schedule your own preseason games. Some years, I think there's a minimum of like 4 or 5, but you can schedule how many you want. You can schedule 12. You can schedule 4. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to schedule a bunch of preseason games. So that's up to the team and the organization, and the players don't have control of that, but still. And then after that, last year, they tried to stretch the season. They started the season 2 weeks earlier to cut down on back-to-backs and triple headers and 4 or 5 times a week. And then the players still said the season was too long. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to cut. I just don't believe they're going to cut the games lower than 82. So it has to be some type of compromise. If you're not starting the season earlier so you don't have to have 4 and 5 games a week and all these back-to-backs, what can you do? The travel's not going to stop because you have to go back and forth across America and Canada. You have to have these travel schedules. You're going to be playing in one city one night and flying to another city the next night.
That's the name of the game, man. That's what you signed up for.
You got private jets and shit now. They were doing this shit on commercial flights.
Exactly.
Taking red eyes in the 80s.
Exactly. So, just kind of switching gears a little bit. If you could put together a list of 5 players that you absolutely must see in today's NBA, who would it be? You got to see in person, live. You tell your friends, yo, if they're in town, we got to go see them. Who's that?
James Harden. Can I do Anthony Davis and LeBron as a combo?
Sure. Lakers in town, got to go see them.
The Lake Show. And it's funny because I'm not going to name Kawhi Leonard. As good as he is. So I go Giannis, the Lakers, Zion when he gets back, James Harden. Last one, Luka.
So I'm glad you said that because I was in Dallas this past week. Got to see a great game, by the way. Orlando Magic versus the Dallas Mavericks. I recommend, man, if y'all get a chance to go see Luka Doncic in person, that dude is the truth. Yeah. He is good. And I know Atlanta, it worked out for them. They got Trae Young. They've got a young, exciting team. They're building great shit.
Trae might need to be on that list.
See, I would take James Harden off that list for me.
Really?
For me, not me. You know what I mean? Like if I were telling my friends, like, yo, first NBA game, you got to go see the Rockets. Nah. For me, the Lakers would be on that list with AD and LeBron because that's impressive to see. And this is the best teammate LeBron's ever had from a talent standpoint. Luka Doncic, though, man. I mean, I don't think Trae Young has an MVP ceiling. He might, but I don't think so. I think Luka Doncic could win a couple MVPs, man.
Bro, man, I don't know, man. Trae is nice.
Trae
is super nice.
But Luka, I mean, the way he affects the game, getting triple-double. I mean, and Trae Young is definitely on that list of people I would want to see live. But Luka, man, that dude is the truth. Giannis, of course. Giannis is 1,000% on that list.
The one thing I say about Trae that makes Trae, I mean, when you see Trae highlights, what you see is the deep threes, the crossover, and the moves. But you don't realize dude average damn near 10 assists a game.
His passing.
His vision. He can pass right hand. He can pass
left-handed. And he's next level.
Yeah, and you know, you see Curry shooting, and it sounds crazy because he's not. I mean, Trae hasn't hit the markers that Curry has. Trae looks like a more natural shooter than Curry. Like Curry looks like the mechanics, like he practices on it, he works on it every day, but just natural shot. It looks like Trae has a more natural shot than Curry. Like that dude is amazing to watch, man.
I can't co-sign on that part,
yeah,
but
bro, I don't think you're watching enough Trae games. You need to start watching these Hawks when Trae letting this thing
I watch
go.
them. I've never said the Hawks are fun to watch. Yeah. They are fun to watch.
I'm on record of saying that I think the trade for Luka, even if Luka wins the MVP 2 or 3 times, this trade and DeAndre Hunter trade for I think that might be one of the best trades for an organization because it doesn't.
But
matter.
You know what? I would say Dallas needed Luka Doncic. Like Dallas specifically needed Luka Doncic because you see, I mean, Dallas is an international city. They had a generational Hall of Fame international player just retire. So not I don't know that Trae Young is going to make is going to excite them.
Why isn't Atlanta International City? They got like the biggest airport, right? It's like one of the biggest.
I don't know. Whatever.
What is it called?
When you think of Atlanta, you think of one thing, and that's black people.
Well, it's that too, but it's like one of the biggest cities for like where all the flights like stop. What is it called? I can't remember. Stop to go to other places.
Layover?
Yeah, the biggest like layover.
Yeah, it's a hub. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest hub. So why isn't Atlanta more of a international city? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's wild.
They ain't got shit. I want to talk about what's up with dudes in their hands. Why the hand injuries in the NBA? That's the most thing. Every year you have something that's significant, and it's weird that the NBA works like that. Gordon Hayward broke his leg, and then like 4 people broke their leg. 2 seasons later. This year, hand injuries. Everyone's breaking their hand. You got Stephen Curry with a broken hand. You got Kyle Lowry. He just broke his hand. Gordon Hayward just broke his hand. Like, hand injuries are literally altering the state of the NBA this season.
Yeah, and what really sucks is Gordon Hayward was just coming. He was returning to form, Utah form.
And that's what we talked about early in the season that the Celtics needed. And you saw that the Celtics were starting to look like a lot better team because Kemba can pass, but he's not a natural distributor. And with Gordon Hayward really getting that 28 rim, he was doing everything that they needed, that Al Horford role, I would say. And then he goes down with a hand injury that's going to force him to be out. Did I name Kyle?
And luckily...
Yeah, Kyler, yeah.
Yeah. And luckily, Gordon Hayward didn't break his shooting hand. So, that's not going to affect condition. It's not going to affect his shooting at all. That's going to be at some point just become a pain management thing. Steph, they're going to miss the season. And it makes sense. I don't think so. I think you're going to see a situation where Golden State just hangs it up. And it makes sense. If you have a chance to get a top 5 pick in your Golden State. And so here's the thing. Here's what I really wanted to get to. Before we get out of here, here's something I really wanted to get to. I think that I really do think that the Warriors, because it's so funny how quick shit changes in the NBA, how quickly you're forgotten. Like, people are like, oh yeah, the Warriors, this is revenge, blah, 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 blah. The Warriors suck. They should fire Steve Kerr. They got the worst roster in the league.
Nobody's saying that.
It's a lot of people saying that.
That's dumb.
But
they don't have the worst roster in the league.
But the worst roster on the court they do. But really. Little do you realize that if you had a top 5 pick to D'Lo, to Steph, to Draymond, I don't know what to make. I think Draymond's done. It's so funny.
I think Pascal gonna get Draymond.
I think if you watch Draymond, and you've kind of seen it for the past couple years, Draymond's kind of a negative a lot. Yeah. Still can affect the defensive end, but Draymond's not Draymond anymore. But anyway, you had top 5 pick.
Version of Draymond.
A younger, more athletic version of Draymond right now. I think you're going to start to see that Warriors team next year. You can say that they're getting their karma right now, but they'll be back. This is not the end of them.
Bro, I'm not saying that they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that anything like that. But the one thing, I watch all the Warriors. They're like my second favorite team, being since like Gilbert Arenas. The one thing I would say about them is, man, there's a lot of teams out here with better talent, but this is a nod to Steve Kerr. That's why anybody that's saying that Steve Kerr needs to be fired is a fucking idiot. Is because those
absolutely,
they play hard. I mean, I don't care what game. If you don't got D'Lo, you don't got Steph, it don't matter. Kyle Bowman out there playing hard, Zach Pascal, David Lee. You put this roster on the court, and yeah, their record's not reflecting it, but every game I see them getting better, man. That defense, which was atrocious the first week and a half, is not as bad as it was before. Now, they didn't have D'Lo, so that makes your defense a little bit better when you put a rookie out there like Kyle Bowman is picking up everyone full court like Patrick Beverly. Now you replace him with D'Lo, and but they're integrating different things in because they haven't had any consistency yet. But the way that I'm looking at these guys, they're playing hard. They're giving a lot of effort. Steve Kerr's finally did what I said he's going to have to do. That motion offense don't work with the talent he has. Now he's just exclusively going D'Lo on pick and rolls like the Brooklyn Nets. Let's not forget last year the Brooklyn Nets started some shit like 8-17 or 8-22 before they really found that niche. I think with D'Lo, Alec Burks, and all those young kids, and a Pascal, who's really trying to find himself. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be as terrible. Like everyone laughing and whatever. I think it's going to be a tough game every time you go in to play them. I don't think they're going to win a lot of those games just because D'Lo's not really efficient enough. He's not Curry. They had Curry maybe, but D'Lo, 32%, 35%, taking bad fadeaways. Now, he did get hot on Friday and go for like 50 and then rebound and go for like 30. But neither one of those translated into wins. You know what I mean?
Yep. Lost both games.
Now, when Curry comes back in like December or January, it's going to depend on where their record is. I definitely think Curry's going to come back because, we talk about Harden, but Curry's a bit of a stat chaser too. He's chased a little bit of history. He knows his 3-point mark. He ain't trying to get too far down. So Curry done played through some of those tanking seasons. He understands. He knows how it goes. He'll go out there, get his stats. Try to win, try to learn, try to help people play with them. But I don't think that they're completely washed. Like I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're not completely done because this is a building year. This is a learning year. A lot of these players are gonna be essential role players next year. Jordan Poole, Kyle Bowman, Pascal. These aren't going to be names you're going to forget about.
Isn't it crazy how short... We talked about windows earlier.
Yeah. How
short windows are. But also, like, you think about that Warriors-Cavs run felt like forever.
Yeah, it did.
It felt like forever. And that was only a 4-year stretch.
Wasn't it a 5-year for the Warriors, though? It was a total of 5, I believe.
A 5-year stretch?
Didn't they win 3?
What, 15, 16, 17, 18? Yeah, so 5-year stretch. You're right.
They won 3 in 5 years, I believe.
Yeah, that's a short window. I mean, because you think about how like you think that the Warriors just been dominating this whole decade. You forget that the Miami Heat were right before the Miami Heat. With LeBron and Dwayne Wade, doesn't that seem like a lifetime ago?
But shit, that's how the NBA. A 5-year stretch is forever because talk about how dominant the Lakers were with Kobe and Shaq. That was a 4-year stretch, right? I mean, it's 4 years.
Yeah, it was.
The year before, the 2 years they were together. I want to say 6 years. But they were only dominant for 4 of those years, 3 of those years. Then they
were together 8. Yeah, they were only dominating from 2000 to 2004, basically. Yeah. And one of those years they had a bad year.
And Jordan was a total of 6 years with a 2-year break. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 years is crazy. You ain't gonna see nothing like the Celtics where they were dominant for like 12, 13 years,
Do you think that there's going to be a point where, so we're an NBA player movement, right? I mean, players taking 2-year deals, 1-year deals, jumping around as much as they have. Do you think we'll see another team like the Warriors who are built like this, like OKC who were kind of built like this, that teams that are given time to grow and really see, you roll the ball out and see, we drafted this team. Because for the most part, people can give the Warriors crap about KD, whatever they want, but they drafted that entire team for the most part, and they drafted the core of that team. They added Iguodala, they added Livingston, and they added the role players before getting KD.
I think that's the only way you can win in the NBA. I mean, even the Milwaukee Bucks, when you got these small towns, the players only go to certain cities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the Bucks aren't winning championship. Unless they make a move, they're not winning championship.
But still, the only way you're going to get into that conversation, we don't know who's going to win or who's not going to win. A year before that Warriors team, started winning and they were losing to the Spurs, you were never like, hey, Golden State's going to win the championship. You would have said, they're never going to win this championship with Curry and Klay shooting all those threes. It's fun to watch, but they're never going to win it. You didn't believe
but my point is those guys have been together a long ass time, and you look around the NBA now. The Bucks are kind of the only team, like you mentioned, Atlanta. That's the only team that is really fitting that. I guess Philly in a way.
You got Philly, Atlanta.
Yeah, but I'm talking about real teams that are.
That's my point. You don't know who's a real team.
We can. You and I are in on Atlanta, right? We're in on them. Just like we were in on the Kings, though. That shit could just be fun teams to watch, but they'll never make a title or a championship game.
So my point is, we can't say that because we don't know. That's what my point is, that when the Warriors, the 2 years before the Warriors, like I said, I've been watching Warriors a long time. The 2 years when the Warriors were building, when they were tanking, then getting Clay, tanking, then getting Harrison Barnes, and then they're going and they get beat by the Spurs. They were just a fun team to watch. No one really ever expected them to make a leap to become a championship team. Like, you don't know. That's the fun part about the NBA, because you really don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I cannot look around the league right now and tell you like who the next dynasty is.
Yeah.
Because I think the championship this year is going to go through one of the LA teams and probably Philadelphia in the East. If I had a gun to my head, that's what I think. But do I think those teams are built long term? I really don't. I do think that you could see a team like Atlanta start to run things in the East here in the next probably 3 to 5 years. You look at a team like Dallas. If they put the right pieces and nail some draft picks, you look at a young Memphis team that's building a nice little core. You look at Minnesota, who needs to add a couple players. They need a point guard bad.
I'm gonna tell you who you still don't want to give credit to, and they're still just doing their thing, man. Phoenix, man.
I'm in agreement with you on Phoenix. Now
that's all young talent too. That's a drafted team.
Yeah.
They added Rubio, but other than that.
I mean, I guess Denver is the same way for the most part. They draft their own talent. So there's got to be a team that a young team that's brewing.
Portland,
but
that's all drafted talent. I mean, they added Whiteside and traded for Nurkic, but I mean that's only like one player. The rest of that team is like built. I mean, C.J. McCollum.
That's not a championship squad though. I don't see a champ.
My point is that we don't know what a champion like. Would you have said the Raptors were a championship squad? Like you
once they got Kawhi Leonard, yeah.
But you liked them. You thought, oh, yeah, they're going to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean they were the number 1 seed most of the year last year. So
there's been a lot of teams that's number 1 seed. Shit, Milwaukee was the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to win the championship,
right? But I've seen Kawhi's. I had seen his body of work. I thought they were championship contenders.
It's hard to tell in the NBA because things go up and down so fast in the NBA.
But would you say we're probably in a point where we're gonna have there's no I don't see a dynasty in the next year or two, right? Like obviously Toronto's not winning a championship this year. I think one of the LA teams or Philly gets it this year. But
you gotta let them know what you mean. You're meaning because the cap kind of limits you, like in this.
Well, what I mean is who's next? Who is the next Lakers? Who's the next Warriors? Who's the next team that for the next 5 years is going to run the NBA and everything's going to run through them? Is it going to be the Clippers? I don't really think so.
Yeah, because the injury situation, the load management, I only think they got like a 2-year window. If I'm being honest, the Lakers at best have a 2-year window. Even that Philly team, I don't know if they lose this year again. I don't know if the team as it's constructed stays together with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So
I'd agree with that.
I agree with what you're saying. But like you said, you have to look at the young teams and you have to look at the salary cap landscape. And the two teams that are built mostly to make a major move are the Phoenix Suns and the Atlanta Hawks. Now, that's going to be predicated on both of those teams showing great improvement this year.
Yep, got to make the leap.
If they make a leap this year, then they can do what the Brooklyn Nets did. Because once you see that they make this, leap and they're a 7th, 8th seed, you know what I mean? Then they become a destination where you go to. Beginning of the year last year, we didn't think the Clippers were a destination. I mean, me and you did because they got the dynasty maker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see the moves 2 or 3 years ahead of time of what Jerry West is doing. That's totally different. But as far as having the cap room, managing the cap right, Atlanta Hawks and the Phoenix Suns are in prime position to do that because right now they have a competitive team on the floor and they have the contracts to move to get 2 big contracts in there. And they can, because they have rookies, they have drafted talents, they have the Bird Rule thing working for them. They have all these different things working for them where they can be a Golden State because they can add 2 max contracts. Now, can you get a major star to come to Atlanta? I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
Can you get a major star to come to Phoenix? I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
You know what I mean? So that's going to be the biggest thing is LA has a competitive advantage. Phoenix and Atlanta, they got like the weather, the city, but I don't know if players actually want to play there.
Yeah. All right, man. Anything before we get out of here?
Nah, man. I pretty much touched on everything. Just keep an eye on the Phoenix Suns, man. I think they're a playoff team. You can't tell me any different.
They're growing on me.
Bro,
That's for sure.
I'm watching the third quarter of the Suns game right now. Ricky Rubio has 16 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. He's in the most comfortable situation that he's ever been in. He's the new Steve Nash. No pressure. Steve Nash went from Dallas and all these expectations of playing with Dirk to in the desert where no one cares about basketball. And then you become MVP.
Don't disrespect Steve Nash that way.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. Ricky Rubio. Keep your eye out. All-Star this year.
Oh, hell no. All right. On that note, we just lost all credibility. That's it. And you see why they call us 2Smart Dummies. All right, y'all. We'll holler at you next week. That's it. That's all. Peace.
Peace.